Hello and welcome to the Let's Talk Fraud Show, a podcast highlighting everything you need to know to fight fraud. My name is Soltan Hassanieh, and I use my experience as an internal auditor and my knowledge as a certified fraud examiner to spread awareness, helping you detect frauds and stop fraudsters. Thank you for joining us today. Hi there, welcome to the first episode of the Let's Talk Fraud podcast. Fraud is not just something that affects a few so-called naive people. It's not something that rarely happens with no impact. Fraud is a multi-billion-dollar criminal industry, which is growing every day. Fraudsters will never stop playing those games to take your money, and will not stop at any point of time. Trust me, they have no conscience whatsoever when it comes to taking vulnerable victims' life savings. So, let us work together to protect our families, our friends, and ourselves from them. Stay tuned. In this episode, we'll be talking more about phishing email scams, and after that, we will be listening to your stories with fraud. Today, we'll be talking more about phishing emails. The first question you will ask yourself, what is phishing? Phishing, with a PH, is an internet scam whereby fraudsters send emails with an intention to collect critical personal and financial information about you. These phishing emails may look genuine and may appear to be sent from a legitimate bank. Those emails will always contain a link to a spoofed website asking you to provide an update or confirm sensitive personal information. And sometimes they ask you to download and install a security software by clicking on a link. Well, let me assure you that your bank will never ask you personal information by email whatsoever. That's one. Number two, they will also never give you a link to click on to log into your account whatsoever. So if you receive such an email that asks you for such information, please do not open them, and in case you entered those links, never encode any of those banking details. Fraudsters are so sneaky, so you might receive some of these emails stating that your bank account has been hacked and that some money has gone missing or something along these lines. Don't believe them. They will encourage you to click on a link in their email, which will take you to a special website, which will look exactly like your bank's official website, but will be owned by our evil Mr. Fraudster. Such emails are known as phishing emails. We will be giving you tips on how to protect yourself by the end of the podcast. Don't miss that. Like what you hear so far? Make sure you never miss the show by clicking the subscribe button now. This podcast is made possible by listeners like you. Thank you for the support. Now back to the show. Have you ever been a victim of fraud? Unfortunately, many of us have. And fraudsters rely on us letting our guard down. Email is a great way of communicating. It is fast and convenient, but we have become so used to it that we don't always use it with caution. Statistics show that 20% of people who receive suspicious emails click on embedded links, and every time they do that, they expose themselves to fraudsters. In the following segment, we will be hearing some of your personal stories with fraud.
I myself hadn't been defrauded, but I have a friend of mine who has. She got her banking details defrauded. She received an email around 3 a.m. and said it's an urgent notification message from the bank. It was saying all this information about the system update, and they are gonna close her account, and that if she doesn't give all the required information right now, because of some sort of emergency, she's gonna get her account suspended. I guess she was half asleep or something, and she filled out everything they needed. Next day, she had about $500 taken out of her bank account, which was totally gone. She had no access to money for about 3 weeks while the bank investigated her case. And I had to support her financially for that period. Trust me, guys. If the bank wants to close your account, they're gonna call you, they're gonna tell you to visit the branch in person. Don't ever do anything over the internet, because if it's that serious, it wouldn't be done over the internet in the first place.
What happened with me is that I left my wallet in the car and went jogging, and when I came back, I found out that a burglar broke into the car and stole my wallet. Now, for the first few months, I thought that he only stole money, but later on, I discovered that he stole my ID as well and used it to open a fake bank account and cash some bad checks. I also received some receipts from hotels and other stores claiming that I owe them hundreds of dollars. However, I was able to clear the whole thing up, but it was really a mess.
I would like to thank our guests for sharing their stories. Such stories might prevent someone else from falling for the same scam. It's all about prevention. I have a couple of tips for you. How can you prevent yourself from phishing emails? Well, first, never reply to an email that requests your personal information. Don't use links embedded in emails. Instead, go directly to the website by typing the web page address in your browser. In case you have clicked on a link by mistake or responded on an email providing confidential information, please call your bank immediately. Ensure that they reset your username, password, and ATM PIN. Ensure to keep your computer updated with the latest operating system patches and security software from a trusted vendor, an antivirus, an anti-malware, and anti-spyware. Never download and install untrusted softwares, as these may place keyloggers on your computer which can capture all information that you had typed and send it to the hacker. Be careful when you use a computer at a public place. Always log off by clicking on the log out or the sign out icon on your bank website. Never store your password or account card information on paper or electronically on a Word, Excel, or a text document. Last but not least, always keep your computer and smartphone protected with a password. Thank you for listening to the Let's Talk Fraud podcast. Before we go, show some love for your favorite podcast by leaving us a review, and don't forget to follow me on social media platforms listed in the description. Stay tuned for next week's episode, and don't forget, where there is a human, there is a fraud.